So hello everyone, welcome back to Nomad. So today we are going to be doing the part 2 of the Python tutorial, and we are going to be doing a lot more from the continuation of the previous section. For example, lists, tuples, and much more. So let's get started to the Python tutorial. So hey guys, welcome back to the collab, and as you all might be familiar with the collab, the previous video, we're going to be naming it as, let's say, P2. So part 2 of our tutorial, getting started with. So we're going to be doing list, dictionary, and even learn about. So without further ado, let's talk about. So you must have heard of the Python list, or maybe something like the arrays. So Python lists are basically used to store multiple items in a single variable, and lists are one of the four built-in data types of Python that is used to store data. List, to declare a list. So in short, list can be thought of as a place where we can keep all types of data in a single variable. So for example, let's create a fruits list. So to declare a list, so we'll say a variable name. For example, in our case, we'll assign it with equal to, and then whatever element list that we put in has to within the square bracket. So we'll write a square bracket, and let's say our fruits is, suppose, within the quotes apple. Then we, let's say, orange. Then let's say banana. Right. So this fruit is a list of all the fruits containing items like apple, orange, and banana. Now, for example, if you want to print this list called as fruit, so we'll say print fruits, and then we'll run this list over here, and it's gonna keep running. And in the output, we are gonna see the fruits which are gonna be present in the list that is being printed for us. As we all know, first initializes the disk space, and then there you go. So we got the list of all the fruits, as you know. So we can store any type of data in the list. We can even store integer type of data, which can be like, for example, number. We can assign it with number equals to, and as we know, it within the square bracket. Then let's define the numbers as 1, 2, 3, 4. Thing we can declare in. And then to print the list, we can say print, and the name of the list as, for example, number. And there we run again, and we're gonna get all the numbers of the list printed. So these are the lists which are being present in one single variable called as number. And the best thing about the list is we can always modify the list. We can even delete the list and even allow duplicate items. For example, over here, for example, let's say we can also add over here another apple on it. So whatever is in the list will get printed as it is. Now, next thing will be, how do we access a single element in the list? So to access a single element in the list, we are going to be running over a concept called as indexing. So what is indexing? So indexing basically means is that the position of all the elements of the list. So for example, let's say how many elements are in the list. So we can say that there are four elements or four fruits in this fruits variable named list, right? So since there are four elements, so we will say the length of the list is 4. So we can, which we can also come to know as print, and then we have a length function called as len, and let's say we say it fruits. Then if we run this cell, see that the number of element of this list will get printed, which is 4 in our case. And same, you can also check it with number, which we run it, we can get there are 6 elements in the list. So now going back to the index. So index means the position of element. So for example, the apple over here, which is our first element in the list, right? So the apple which we have will have an index or the position as 0, because the list always starts with 0. So the apple which is 0, and then we have orange which is at first index, then we have banana which is at second index, and then we have the third index called as the other apple, right? So that is how we can uh, access each element of the list, and that position of the element is called index number. So let's say you want to print this apple in the list. So the index of the apple, as we know, always starts from 0. So it's gonna be the first element, as we say, 0th element. So we can wait by, suppose, let's say, print. And what is the name of a list? Called as fruit. So fruits, and then to print the first element, we'll write square bracket, and the first element is apple, the position of 0, and then we run it over here, and hence, as you can see, it's apple being printed. Thus we have the first element being printed, and similarly we can print other elements of the list, for example, which can be banana. So banana is at index 0, 1, 2. Banana is at index 2, so we'll print brackets 2, and there we go, we have banana over here, which means this is our third element of the list. So that's called the index. So we can also say that the index of list. All right, so I'm sure you're clear with this idea of indexing. Now let's say you might ask, what if we write -1 instead of 0? So let's see what is going to happen if you write minus instead of this, right? So it won't give an error, because whenever we refer to as -1, it automatically goes behind the list. So for example, if it's 0, then it automatically goes behind the list over here, which is -1. So it starts from the back. So we can also refer it as -2, which will print as banana. So as you can see, negative means we are going back again to the list. Alright, so I'm sure you're now understood between the list and its indexes. Let's say, for example, you want to print multiple elements in the list. So to do that, we can say that, for example, let's say you have orange. Let's say to do it, we'll say print. We'll say fruits, and in the third bracket again, we will go. For example, what is the index of orange, or the position of the orange? We can say the position is 1. Right. So we want to print till apple. All the elements till apple needs to be printed. So what is the index of apple? The index of apple is 3. But over here, when we write index to of apple of 3, the apple wouldn't get printed, because the numbers from 1 till 2 is being gonna be printed. The last index is always gonna be omitted. So let's say if we write 3, only orange and banana will get printed, as you can see, because the last one will always get omitted. So, to include apple, we'll say, so what is the apple index? 3. So we'll always add it to by 1, which is 4, so that we can print the apple. So as you can see, the apple is now get printed. So this concept is called slicing property. So we are technically slicing, or we are dividing this list into parts based on an index, and then we are giving it to the list, assigning it and printing it. Now let's say if you want to, if you can, so let's say if you remove this one in the list, now you might wonder that this might give an error, but it won't, because everything including the zeroth index will get printed. So whenever you do not give any number, it automatically assumes that the list is going to start from the in beginning or it is going to end. So let's say if we write 2, if we remove this, then all the elements from 2 index or second index will get printed, so which is banana and apple. So this is another concept of slicing, which I hope you understood. Now let's talk about how do we change the element in the list. So we'll write plus code over here. So for example, you want to add one more element in the list. So to do that, let's say you want to replace this orange. Instead of orange, you want to replace with for example maybe cherry. So to do that, we will say fruits, which is our list name, and then again square bracket. What is the index of orange? So the index of orange is 1. We'll say 1. The fruits of 1 equal to, and in quotes we'll write, let's say cherry, and then we will again print the list like we did as print fruits. And so therefore you can see the first index element, which is 0 apple 1 orange, so orange will get replaced with cherry, and thus you can change the values of the list in this manner. So and furthermore, you can also change more than one element of the list. So to do that, we'll say, for example, change the last two elements. So what is the index of banana? It is 0, 1, 2. Index of banana is 2. And then we'll say again colon, basically using the slicing property. And then we will say the index of apple is 3. But since in the slicing we always omit, take one less than the last element. So we'll have to write, we have 4 because 2, 3, and then 4, which means that one element less than 4 will already be taken in our list comprehension Python. We'll assign it with, for example, we'll say another list, and by the names of the, we can say kiwi, then we can also say mango, and furthermore we can print the list, print fruits. Thus we run it, and as you can see, the last two elements are being replaced with kiwi and mango. So this is the method in which we can replace elements of the list. The next thing will be adding elements in this list. For example, you want to add more elements in the list, and we can easily do it by using dot append function or the dot append method. So to do that, we'll say the list name called as fruits, then we'll say dot append, right? And then in the circle bracket, this time we'll use circle bracket to append element instead of square bracket that we always used in list, since it's a method. And then we'll say let's add one more element, which can be, let's say, black current. Alright, so we'll print this list again, and there you go. We will have black current appended, as you can see, in the last element of the list. So whenever you write the append function, the last element will get added with the element you want it to be added to in the list. Furthermore, we can also remove elements in the list. So to do that, we will say say oh, say we will use the remove function, which is the remove method. So to do that, we will say fruits, which is the name of the list, and say dot remove, right? And then in circle bracket, we'll again open the bracket called as fruits dot remove, and then we'll have to name the fruit which we want to remove. Suppose we want to remove mango, then we remove mango, print fruits fruits. Got it? So, so there you go. We have got the mango removed. And so I will come back to why we are getting black current one after another and again. Because in our list variable, this was already stored. Now we are adding the dot append again. So dot two times black current is gonna be added because last time also I ran this dot append black current and when we shift to the cell. So we'll have mango removed by dot remove function. And suppose you wanna remove at a specific index. For example, you want to remove the first index element. So we will use this function called as pop. So we will say fruits dot pop, and there you go. We will do it with, suppose it's the first index element you want to remove. So we'll say fruit dot pop f1, and then we're gonna print this fruits again, and then we're gonna run this element. Oopsie. Yep. So I kind of forgot because we since we already removed the element, we can't uh, run it again. So mango is not present. So yeah, there you go. So apple, kiwi. So since we are running this cell for 3 times, so black currant got appended 3 times, so don't need to worry about it. And there you go, apple and kiwi is being there, and we have removed our first element, which is cherry over here. Thus, we get it. So that's how you remove the elements in the list, and how you have changed the element in the list, how you print a single element in the list, and how you add elements in the list at the end also. The next thing we'll say, for example, let's say you want to sort the list. Let's take this list, right? And plus code. Let's say you have this list of numbers and you want to sort this list. So to sort this list, we have this function called as dot sort. So we'll use the function called as number dot sort, and then you have number dot sort function written. So it means it will sort that after this function, and then we are going to print number. So as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 8. Then list is automatically being arranged right now. Let's say you want to sort the list in descending order. How to do it? You say again number dot sort, and then we'll say reverse equal to, we'll say true. So it means that you are trying to tell the list to be sorted in a reverse order or the descending order. Over here, sorry, I forgot to print it again. I will print the list in this manner called as print of number, and there you go. We have one sorted list, ascending order, and then we have a descending order sorted list. Alright, so now we know how to sort a list too. So let's say you want to join a list, so you can do that by simply, let's say, let's write +4. So suppose you want to join another list, one list to another. Let's write over number 1. Then we can say number 2, which is or another list, which can be 100, 200, 300, or 30. And to join a list, we'll simply say number 3, which is another variable name, and then we are going to concatenate or add one list to the another at the end. So as a number 1 dot plus number 2, then we are going to say print number 3, and there you go. We have a list appended one after the another. So the next, so we got the list method, join lists. So you can also copy a list to another variable. So to do that, for example, let's say if you have this number list and you want to copy this list to another list. So to do that, you want to go as number 5 equals to number 1 dot copy, which is that we are going to be using copy function to copy one list to another variable, and thus we'll print it by print number 5. We're gonna run this test and there you go. We got the same elements and we're gonna printing number 5, which is our variable name. Right. So I hope now you're clear with the list in overall and in basic. So now, so we're gonna be talking about a very important concept in the our Python called as dictionary. So what a dictionary basically? Dictionaries are used to store data values in a collection ordered manner, and a dictionary is a collection which does not allow duplicate. You will come across this dictionary many times in Python, be it machine learning, be it data analysis, be it data science, can be anything. The data which you will be shown will always be in dictionary based format. So we're gonna be looking into dictionaries today, and I'm trying to make this concept easy for you so that you understand, do not forget it. So let's get started with the dictionary. So basically, let's say we say another self. So dictionaries are used to store values in an ordered fashion. Now, let's say for example, let's take a dictionary. So to declare a dictionary, we'll have a usual method of having a variable called as dict. Let's say we call a dictionary dict. So then we'll say curly brackets open. Let's define a dictionary. It, let's say for example, call it as thing. Let's say we call it as car company. It can be a company called as model. Let's car. So yeah, so dictionary will always be enclosed in the curly bracket, and we'll always have a key value pair. I'm gonna come to what is key value pair in short while. So we'll say, let's say our car name is model. Let's say car share 80. Now let's define some more values to a dictionary. So to define more values to a dictionary, we can say, for example, and we have to do it with comma and let's say year of manufacture, which can be year. Also add some more values to this dictionary called as, for example, owner. Let's say call let's say owner of this car is known as Tom. Right. So we have got this car dictionary. So whatever values we have, similar type of values can be taken in a dictionary, and we have a much more organized value, and accessing the value is much easier than a regular list or any other data structure. Say you want to print this dictionary. So to print this dictionary, say print. We call it for dict, and then we run it, and there we go. We have a dictionary of cars of the owner, basically Tom, year 1987, and Chevy 89. So now coming to the key value pair. So this Chevy 89 is represented by this key model, and we have this values always stored in key and value. So the key of the 1987 value is represented by the year, and the year key has a value 1987. So that's how the value pair means in dictionary. Now our next job will be accessing the item in a dictionary. So to access an item in a dictionary, we'll do a similar fashion like a list. So we call it, for example, dict, and then in the square bracket we say, for example, we want to print the Chevy 89 model, which is the value. So to print this value, we'll have to always call this model, which is the key representing the dictionary, and thus to print it, let's say we store it in a variable as x, and to print it we'll say print x. Then we run this cell. There you go, Chevy 89 is being printed. And we can also change this uh, value to, for example, owner, and the owner key is represented by the Tom, and the Tom, let's say, run it. So there you go. We have this Tom printed. Now let's say you want to change a value in the dictionary. So to do that, we'll again call this key. So we have, for example, dict, and then you have to do open a square bracket, and let's say you want to change this owner. We're going to change the owner of the car. To do that, we'll call this key owner, and we'll assign it with a new value. Let's say owner is Ram in our car dictionary. And so to print the dictionary, we'll say print DICT. And there you go. We have changed the owner of the car by simply calling the key and replacing it with another value. Now, you can also add items in the dictionary. So to do that, you have to just code, and similarly you have to say dict, and you have to give a new key, which can be, for example, we have got model, we got year, say we got the price, we need the price. So to do that, we will have a price key specified, a new key, and then we will say equals to, say, 30,000, and thus we then print the dictionary by saying print dict, and then we'll run this cell, and there you go, we have got the price appended in the dictionary. That's how you add values in the dictionary, and we can go on adding more and more values. And to remove values of the dictionary, we'll do a plus code again, and to do that, we'll say we have the dictionary value name, so it's a dict dot pop, the circle brackets, we'll say, and again a quote. Let's say you want to pop this or remove this year. Let's say you want to remove this year, so say the key, which is the year, we have to specify always the key. We cannot call a dictionary or refer a dictionary by its value. We have to always refer the dictionary with its key, whatever operation you want to perform. And thus you print it by print dict, and then we'll run the cell, and there you go. We have got our dictionary, and we removed this here key value pair. So that's how you print the values in the dictionary. So I hope you are clear with basic dictionary functions. We'll get to more and more implementations later. Now we can also copy this dictionary by using a similar function called as the copy function. We'll say my dict equals to dict dot copy. So circle brackets, and then we'll print it by print my dict. Then we'll run this video. And there you go. The my dict, which has the values of the dict, is being printed now. That's how you copy a dictionary. So that's it for the basics of dictionary and the list. And we'll go on to more and more functionalities in our next video. So if you like the video, don't forget to say subscribe to my channel, and you know the channel called as Tech, because it takes me a lot of time to create the videos, edit the videos, and even share my knowledge so that I can make this Python easier for you. So stay tuned for the next video, and we are going to slowly cover Python until the whole course of machine learning and data science. Thank you, and see you in the next video.